For a while, I was the smart kid. For a while, I was top of the class. Then I moved in 7th grade and fell smack dab in the middle of average. I would have clawed my way back to the top, but I realized some other dreams of mine too soon. Other siren songs, louder and richer than perfect scores and good grades. In 6th grade, I read like a storm. Winds teared up papers, rain soaked through text. I annotated and bunny-eared, read and read and read and read. Reading was a badge, a sign of accomplishment, and for a while, a constant companion. But storms end, and there's always a sunny period that follows. And so I stopped reading. The stress of a new school kept me up at night, but always to ponder and listen, never to pick up a novel. In 8th grade, I resolved to read. It wasn't a smooth transition, but a concerted effort, forcing books onto myself. Heavy clouds gathered, but no rain fell. I couldn't get anything out of my books, only words and phrases and names. I pulled back, and then I tried again. A light patter, a book here, maybe one there, graphic novels, middle grade chapter books I'd forgotten about in my cyclone. Clouds darkened, and the rain kept coming till it poured. No winds, just Jane Eyre and I, looking out through the window and taking in the rhythmic intonation of the shower. Music was one of those things I always knew I had to worship. One time I took a personality quiz. It asked, "Do you get goosebumps for music?" Yes, plus infinity. Music is everything. It's everywhere. It's a blanket. A warm one at that. I play cello. It's the closest instrument to a human voice in range and tone. So I sing. I sing without opening my mouth. Cello wasn't always like that. As a 10-year-old, it was a hobby. Then at 12, it was a burden. But then I realized how much I loved my earpods, and how much I wanted to create that love again, and myself. I love music. I love the twangy female folk singers of 6th grade, the soulful indie rock of 7th, the decidedly optimistic pop of 8th. But sometimes I take the earbuds out, and all around me is a silent world that is so terrible and so perfect that it warrants a soundtrack of its own, one I can't make with my cello, one I want to make with all my heart. In 5th grade, I stopped talking. No one, bar a few, heard me speak. Because the time wasn't right. Because the person wasn't right. There was always something. School kids called me a ghost, a robot. And at that point, it wasn't too far from the truth. I maybe started believing it too. My ELA teacher noticed this as well. Lucy, I remember her saying, "You are such a kind and polite girl, but you need to talk more." And I'd never make it in the real world, and I'd never make friends, and I was stressful and confusing to deal with. And I listened, numb and blank. Nothing changed, just the knowledge I was a withering shrub in a garden of bright blooming flowers. 7th grade brought a new school, a failure at socialization. I made a few friends quickly, then talked to no one but them. Fear kept my mouth shut, my eyes forward. I survived the frigid winter, but failed to bloom in the spring. A bulb that might be dead, or maybe it's just having a bad year. And when that year came, bright and shining 8th grade, I committed to bloom. So I tried to force myself to talk, and laugh and say hi, and I didn't bloom so much as I planted a garden. It was not my teacher's warning, but my willingness to disregard it. Not a kid studying to pass the test, a kid going to extra classes just so they could learn. And I learned that I'm not a bright blooming flower, but I can sow seeds. Learned that all this time I was a sapling, waiting out the winters until my leaves bathed the plants in comfortable shade. And so in the summer sun, I wait. A new siren song, a new rainstorm, a new soundtrack, a new garden. It'll present itself to me, but really I'll have to seek it out. And once I've found it, I'll lean back in my chair and I'll smile. A million summer suns bathing me in light, and a million experiences lived, swirling around, infinitely. Thanks.